On the morning of December 5, 2025, a routine international flight from Dubai to Hyderabad received an email, a simple message, a threat bomb on board. No one on the plane, in the cabin, among the passengers, knew what was coming. Moments later, the world shifted. This is the story of Flight EK526. What unfolded should make every traveler pay attention, because sometimes safety doesn't come from comfort, it comes from vigilance. It began like any other flight. Emirates engines roared to life. Passengers settled into their seats. The journey from Dubai to Hyderabad was underway. Flight number EK526 glided through the night. The plane, a Boeing 777, carried hundreds of souls, families, workers, travelers, dreams. There were no signs, no alarms, no suspicion. But far away, in a quiet room, behind a screen, someone typed, someone pressed send. A bomb threat. An email landed at Rajiv Gandhi International Airport in Hyderabad, addressed to the airport's customer support. The time was approximately 7:30 in the morning, just as EK526 approached its destination. Instantly, alarms sounded in back offices and security rooms. Protocols activated. Because in aviation, one message can trigger a massive chain reaction. On the ground at Hyderabad, everything changed. Airport authorities triggered a full security response. They coordinated with security agencies, mobilized fire engines, and prepared sniffer dog units. Bomb squad and disaster response teams were summoned. The plan: treat the threat as real until proven otherwise. Meanwhile, Flight EK526 remained on final approach. The pilots, hearing nothing unusual, continued their descent. The cabin crew went about their routine landing procedures. The passengers, oblivious, were maybe watching a show or sleeping. Down below, chaos was building. A runway turned into a potential crime scene. At 8:30 a.m., EK526 touched down safely. A smooth landing. No turbulence in the sky, but what awaited was far more turbulent. Instead of taxiing to the arrival gate, EK526 was diverted. It was moved to an isolated bay, a secure zone reserved for higher-risk emergencies. Passengers sensed something was wrong: the sudden halt, the unusual presence of uniformed officers, sniffer dogs, and flashing lights near the windows. Inside the cabin, an announcement came. Ladies and gentlemen, for security reasons, please remain seated. Authorities will guide you shortly. No panic, just calm instructions. Professionalism under pressure. Passengers were deboarded, one by one. No luggage, no carry-on Zoll. Personal items were left behind. Suitcases, handbags, boxers, everything stayed. Outside, under harsh lights and watchful eyes, passengers gathered in small groups, whispering bewildered. Meanwhile, the inspection began. Bomb squad officers entered with gear. Dogs began sniffing aisles, overhead bins, and luggage compartments. Every seat, every corner was cleared, checked, and scanned. Hours passed. The tension remained. After exhaustive searches, nothing was found. No explosives, no suspicious device. The verdict? A bomb threat hoax, confirmed by multiple media outlets. Relief? Yes, but also alarm. Because this wasn't the first time. It wasn't even the second. It was the third threat in just 2 days at that same airport. The previous days had seen similar threat emails targeting other flights, shifting from a simple disruption to an emerging pattern. Authorities declared the plane safe, and passengers were allowed to go. For them, for Emirates, for the airport, normalcy tried to return. But the incident left a mark, a question. If one email can trigger such chaos, how many more could come? The December 5th incident didn't stand alone. It's part of a series. Just a day earlier, a flight from Medina to Hyderabad was diverted after a bomb threat email. Another, from Kuwait, was forced to divert to Mumbai. On December 6th, additional threats targeted more flights, including one from Heathrow and another from Kuwait. Hyderabad's airport has become a hotspot, a nexus of hoax threats, each causing massive disruption. Security agencies describe this as a worrying pattern. It raises red flags. Are these random hoaxes or coordinated acts? Is someone testing airport vulnerabilities? Is this a psychological operation, using fear to destabilize? No official motive is confirmed yet, but the pattern demands serious attention. In response, Emirates issued a calm, measured statement. On the 5th of December, the Indian authorities alerted us to a potential security threat on Emirates Flight EK526, the airline said. Standard security procedures were implemented. Passengers disembarked, normally following security checks. They reiterated that the safety of passengers and crew remains their highest priority. Meanwhile, airport authorities and security agencies have launched an investigation. According to media reports, a case has been registered. Cyber forensic teams are now working to trace the email, analyzing IP addresses, tracking VPN usage, and studying metadata. Because even in a hoax, the origin matters. For those on board, it was a flight-turned nightmare. Parents holding children, elderly passengers guided by security officers, young travelers confused and anxious. They were all deplaned and left without their baggage. One passenger later said, "I didn't know what was going on, but I felt something was wrong." Another praised the cabin crew. They handled it very professionally. They didn't let us panic. Moments like this leave a lasting impact, not because of physical harm, but because of fear and uncertainty, a reminder of how fragile normal life can be. You might ask, why should this matter to me? Because this incident highlights several truths. In today's world, a single email can trigger a full-scale aviation emergency. Airport security is only as strong as its vulnerabilities allow, and hoax threats can be weaponized to disrupt travel, cause panic, and drain resources. For airlines and passengers alike, unpredictability is the new normal. Every time a threat email lands, it forces entire systems to gear up, traumatizing passengers and eroding trust in safe travel. So, let's do a status check on what we know versus what we don't. This leads to some serious speculation. Could this be a deliberate campaign aimed at one airport to test vulnerabilities and instill fear? Could there be a hidden network behind these emails? Or is it a single troubled individual causing chaos for attention? Could a future threat be real, not a hoax, waiting for the right moment when our guards are down? Is this series of hoaxes a prelude to something more sinister? Most chillingly, what if the next email doesn't land in time? What if the warning comes too late or not at all? In an age where one click can disrupt hundreds of lives, how safe is safe? These are not accusations. These are questions that authorities must answer before the next flight, before the next threat. The story of Flight EK526 ended without tragedy. No bomb, no destruction, no casualties. But it did end with a warning that safety, even at 30,000 feet, can be undermined by the click of a button. That airports, airlines, and authorities must stay vigilant. And that travelers must be aware, calm, but alert. What seems routine today can become an emergency tomorrow. Remember, peaceful skies may hide invisible threats. A safe landing does not always mean safety is over, because in a world full of unknowns, the only real defense is preparedness. Be alert, be aware. Silence doesn't always mean safety. It may just be the calm before the next storm. Thanks for watching.